The New York Knicks, though, there were 2 wins tonight in the Eastern Conference. Sixers, Knicks. After Philadelphia's win, I don't have any more confidence in them than I did entering that game tonight. But what the New York Knicks have done in consecutive games is starting to make me a believer. What the Knicks have done in their last 2 games against the Hawks, it almost feels like they figured it out here. Well, what have they figured out, Lynnell? They figured out that if they defend, they're going to be a really difficult group to stop. And you saw it start in game number 4, and it continued tonight. Now, the big difference in game number 4, from my vantage point, was that they played through Karl Anthony Towns on the offensive end, right? Like, I think their offense is better. I think their offense is better when they're playing through Towns, when he's the initiator, when he's the offensive engine. You saw it was a 20-point triple-double for him the other night in their win. But the other thing that stood out in that win in game number 4 was their defense. C.J. McCollum has really been the story of this series. In the last 2 games, what they have done to him defensively, it's been absolutely suffocating. Tonight, C.J. McCollum, 3 of 10 from the field, just 6 points. In game number 4, 17 points on 8 of 15 shooting. In the 3 games prior, it was 23 points, 32 points, 26 points. They have found a way to stifle C.J. McCollum, and I think everybody on the New York Knicks deserves credit for it. It's been a team effort in terms of trying to stop him, and they've done a really good job at it. And it's creating easy offense for them. They're getting out in transition. They're running. They look like a force to be reckoned with right now. But here's where I kind of come back to reality, right? It's the Hawks, who really was giving Atlanta a chance to survive and advance in this thing. How seriously were we actually taking the Hawks as a threat to the New York Knicks? When we talk about the ceiling of the Hawks and the ceiling of the Knicks, Hawks' ceiling is maybe, I don't know, reaching the second round. Knicks' ceiling is winning the finals. And I know when we talk about the Knicks in the finals, it's a long way away. A lot of people are probably like, what the hell is this brother talking about? No way they'd win the finals. When they're clicking on all cylinders, when you think about the depth that they have, the ability to go 8, 9, 10 deep with Deuce McBride and Jose Alvarado and Jordan Clarkson and Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench, they got a legit 9-man rotation. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. The offense, to me, we know they'll figure it out. This is the New York Knicks. Look at who you have. You got Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson. That's enough of an offensive hub for anybody to win a title. The big separator here for New York, and what's changed over the past 2 games, is their ability to lock in defensively. And I think Karl Anthony Towns is the key to that. From a rim protection standpoint, and then offensively playing through him. Jalen Brunson ended up finishing with what? 39 tonight? But you saw when the game was out of reach, you saw him really start to cook, and he went on a little bit of a mini run. He wasn't the focal point tonight offensively. Once again, they played through Cat. They played through Cat. Yeah, Brunson ended up being the high man, but he's getting his baskets in transition. He got a bunch of baskets toward the end of this thing. I think playing through Karl Anthony Towns and having him work from that elbow is their best offense here. But I'll continue to go back to this. It's their best offense, but I'm not worried about that end of the floor for them. It's about them defensively. And what Karl Anthony Towns did protecting the rim tonight, what he did in terms of being switchable as a big, moving his feet laterally, like that's what you need out of him. And I know people are going to laugh at it. I'm the first one to laugh at it. I think he is so weird. It's the best way that I can describe it. He's just an awkward human being. watching him get emotional tonight, and, like you can't, you see him yelling on the TV, but I imagine that's what it sounds like. It's right? He's a different type of cat, no pun intended. They need that version of him to show up. They need him to play with a chip on his shoulder. He is on the record calling himself, the best offensive big ever. You know what I'm saying? He's on the record calling himself the best offensive big ever. If the Knicks are going to continue to survive and advance and reach their goals, it's about more than the offense for Karl Anthony Towns. Got to be a rim protector. Can't allow second opportunities for your opponent. And then continue to stay in the fight mentally. I thought, and people are going to laugh at it, like I said, him being vocal, him anchoring their defense the way that he did tonight, like that's what it's about for New York. And they're an interesting group, man, because I know all year long, similarly to how we kind of felt about the Pistons, I feel the same way. I feel the same way about New York. We've all felt the same way about New York, but I don't know, man. It's just hard when they're clicking on all cylinders the way that they were tonight. Think about the combination of things they did tonight. They held Atlanta under 100 while scoring damn near 130. Held the Hawks to 45% from the field, 31% from three. They locked in tonight defensively. And they're going to have to the rest of the way. Taking a look ahead here real quick as we pull up the postseason bracket in the Eastern Conference. Winner of this series goes on to take on the winner of Boston and Philadelphia. Round number 2 in the Eastern Conference between probably the Knicks and the Celtics. That may very well be the Eastern Conference Finals matchup right there. That may well be the Eastern Conference Finals right there. Those are, at this juncture, probably the best two teams in the East. Every time I say that, I look over to my shoulder and I see my James Harden spirit animal, my James Harden genie saying, "You're going to count me out? You're going to act as if we have no shot?" It's kind of how I feel. Track record says so. But when it comes to the New York Knicks and what they did tonight defensively, going back to what they did in Game 4 defensively, this is the formula for them. This is the formula for them. Extending the ball pressure, not giving up extra possessions. That's what matters for this group. They can score with anybody. They can score with anybody. What they did defensively in Games 4 and Game 5 is what's going to allow them to potentially go on a run to where they're still playing in the month of June. That just is what it is. It just is what it is. Everybody chipped in tonight, too. That's the amazing part about it. I continue to talk about the depth of New York and their ability to go 9-10 guys deep. There was an offense or a defensive possession, rather, where Mitchell Robinson is forced into a switch, and it's him one-on-one against Jonathan Kuminga, who has been hell for New York in this series at times. Ends up with a blocked shot. They've got dudes. But the dude, when they're at their best, has to be Cat. I don't think you can win playing through Jalen Brunson. I don't think you can reach your potential playing through Jalen Brunson because Cat's the more versatile guy. When he imposes his will, when he chooses to play with that fierceness and that ferocity that we all know is deep inside of him, they're a really, really tough out. They are. And everyone was on Mikal Bridges' case, right? When they were losing games in this series. Guess what Mikal Bridges was tonight? 3 for 6, 7 points. It ain't about him scoring. It's not why they traded 5 first-round picks. It ain't about him scoring. It's about him defending and rebounding. Knock down the open looks that come your way. I think it's going to be, in round number 2, that Boston Knicks series is probably the Eastern Conference Finals. And the way that I'm feeling about New York after tonight, and mainly I blame the color announcer tonight. I believe it was Reggie Miller. Blame Reggie Miller for exuding this level of confidence in the Knicks has now got me sipping the Kool-Aid. Because I can see it. When they're at their best, when they're clicking on all cylinders, and like I continue to reiterate, it starts defensively for them. They're a tough out. And when you look at it from a matchup standpoint, every series that Cat is going to go in, and every series that they go throughout this postseason, including the finals, Cat's the best interior player. Cat's the best big when his mind is right. Because if you're Boston in the second round, what are you putting Jason Tatum on him? That has to be the matchup, right? You're hoping that Jason Tatum and his length and his physicality is able to bother Karl Anthony Towns, but I don't see him being able to guard him. They have a matchup nightmare in Karl Anthony Towns. The question is, which version of Cat are you going to get? Which version of the big fella is going to show up on a night-in, night-out basis? If the Cat that showed up the last two games, if he shows up, the Knicks have the ability to go all the way. It's a major if because we've known Cat to be very inconsistent. It's the big question here, though, for the New York Knicks. Give them credit, though. The way that they defended tonight, it was the reason why they were able to beat the hell out of the Atlanta Hawks. This game was not close, ever. They were up 13 coming out of the first frame, and they never released the lead throughout the course of this game. The New York Knicks, for the second consecutive game, totally dominated the Atlanta Hawks. Is this the real New York Knicks, is my question, or will we see Atlanta punch back coming up here in game number 6 as the series moves back to the ATL? I'm fascinated by it, man.